All right. Arthur, we saved you till last. Arthur is probably the most expert poker person you'll ever meet. He's involved in a lot of things around the community. I believe he's on every board there is, but if not, he soon will be. And, it's just so many talents. We're very, it's a better place because of you, Arthur. And so, here we are. Arthur Reber.
Everybody's been giving these stirring life, stories. I don't have one here for you. My discussion here tonight is just about poker. Most TED Talks are like that. They just pick out some specific topic and they just sort of let it fly. So poker, it's often called by those of us who play it a people game played with cards for money. And that's really what it's all about. It's definitely the most complex game that is routinely played by members of our species. Now, you tell this to people who play games like chess or Go, and they immediately get, really annoyed at you. Say, no, come on. It's just whoever has the best hand wins the money. If you talk to people who both play chess and play poker, they will tell you poker is much more difficult. The reason poker is a difficult game is because it's a game of partial information. You only know some things that you need to know. And you have to make estimates, guesses, inferences about those things that you do not know. And one of the things you do not know, in addition to not knowing your opponent's cards, is you don't know what they're doing either. So a typical poker hand begins with, you look at your cards, and you try to assess how strong a hand you have. Then you try to figure out how you're going to play it. Then your opponent responds. They can fold, which is fine, they go away and you don't have to worry about them anymore. They can call your bet when you make a bet, or they can raise you. And now you have to figure out, why did they do each of these things? Why did they call me? Why didn't they raise me? Why did they raise me? Why didn't they call me? If they raised me, why did they raise me as much as they raised me? What do they think I have? And now as the hand progresses, you start to say, well, all right, I know what I have. I'm beginning to get a sense of what I think my opponent has. But now I have to try to figure out what my opponent thinks I have. Because what they think I have is determining how they're playing. And so these layers keep piling up on top of each other. And that's the nature of the game. So it becomes this utterly fascinating game. Now, I started playing it in high school, like everybody does, right? You just sort of start playing poker, and it's basically a game of double-up. And you play all these silly games, with wild cards and baseball, and you move cards around, and you put cards on your head, and all kinds of stuff like that. And basically, you're just there to get drunk and have fun, right? And if you get lucky, you win some money, and you're happy and all. And as time goes by, I began to realize that, no, in fact, this was really a much more interesting and much more complex game. I got into it later than most poker players do, because I got into horse racing first. I got into horse racing because my two uncles, my father's brothers, were horse racing fans. They were they really loved the ponies. And every once in a while, they would be stuck with me for a Saturday. And the way they babysat me was they took me out to the racetrack. So I got intrigued by that. And again, I realized, yes, sure, you can bet your lucky numbers, you can bet your birthday, but there's a very complex set of strategic decisions that you need to make. There's a lot of information, a lot of data. So I started getting interested in gambling. But I was never interested in gambling. I was always interested in gambling games that had different features and characteristics to them, and the ones that attracted me were the ones that you could actually win it. Now, you can't win at roulette. You can't win at craps. You can't win at the slot machines. I mean, yeah, of course, you can hit a jackpot and you beat, but that's just normal. All these games are what are called negative EV games, expected value games. And you're going to lose long. But there are several games that you can actually win at, because the games are strategic in nature, or they're games where the odds change over time. And you can make decisions based upon what the odds are at a particular point in time. So the key games are poker, which is the strategic game, horse racing. What you have to do is to figure out what a proper, appropriate bet is relative to the odds. In other words, a horse is going off at 2 to 1, and you think it should be 3 to 1, you don't bet it. A horse is going off at 3 to 1, you think it should be 2 to 1, you bet it. And you can win in the long run. And the other one is sports betting. And in sports betting, what you're trying to do is to find a situation where the line on the game you think is off, it's just wrong. And that the bookies have misjudged the outcome, the likely outcome of the game, or the line has been shifted over time because a lot of people have bet money on one side of the game. And then you can jump on the other side because you think that the line has drifted in the wrong direction. So I get interested in all this stuff. I started playing a lot of poker. And I do okay. I mean, I just had a game the other night, and I won't even tell you what I won, but you know, it was fine. I just take the money and stick it in the bank. I've done okay in a number of tournaments. I've cashed in a couple of World Series of poker tournaments. And because I don't know if people don't know this, but I'm an academic, I'm an intellectual. I was a professor for nearly about 45 years, close to 50 years. Did a lot of research and published a lot of stuff, trained a lot of PhD students, ran a PhD program, and so I have to write stuff. So I started writing. And I wrote a book called The New Gambler's Bible, which was the first time that anybody ever broke down gambling games into those that you could win at and those that you had to lose at. And outlined the strategies for winning and those that you could beat, and outlined how to lose the least and those which you couldn't beat. And that attracted enough attention so that I got invitations from people to start working with them and doing some essay writing. And I ended up linking up with a fellow named Lou Krieger, whom I actually always knew as Roger Lou, and Lou Krieger was his nom de guerre, as it were. And Lou and I must have written, gosh, I don't know, 200, 250 columns for a variety of magazines in gambling and poker and for the casino industry. And then he and I and another fellow wrote Gambling for Dummies. And then I got picked up by Poker Listings as a major international website, and I wrote for them for quite a few years. And that's it. And if anybody's curious about poker, we have a regular poker game. It's a 1-2 no limit, $300 maximum buy-in. Those of you who know poker know what I'm talking about. Those of you who don't, it's all gibberish. Let me know. There's always a seat in the game.
We'll teach you. Yeah.
No, I'm perfectly willing to give poker lessons to anybody who's interested in it for free. I don't need the money. So that's it. Anybody have questions to ask about the game? I'd be glad to tell you about them. Judy, yes.
Do you play either Go or chess?
I played chess. I was terrible, very bad at it. And I found it most unpleasant because I think I'm smart, and this is a game that smart people are supposed to be able to play, and I couldn't, and it made me feel stupid, and I did things like knock the pieces over.
Well, that wasn't quite the answer I was looking for.
Well, that's it. You're looking for a chess partner?
No, I was interested, if you had played it, how you felt about the differences between them,
This completely,
game?
but they have nothing to do with each other in terms
Yeah,
of tactical strategic games. They're just, poker is just a completely different kind of game. One of the things that people don't understand about poker, if they don't play it, the place you're sitting at the table is extraordinarily important, because there's an order in which you have to act. So on every hand, someone is the designated dealer, and the people act to the left all the way around, the dealer acts last. That's a stupendous advantage because you now see what everybody else has done. And if you're in an early position and you have to act early, that's a terrible disadvantage because you don't know what anybody else is going to do. So one of the first things you understand in the game is if the person in an early position raises, they usually, not always, they usually have a very strong hand because you're in considerable jeopardy there because all of the other players, usually 9 or 10 at the table, they all act after you. So if you have just a so-so hand and you get smacked by a big raise from somebody later on, now you have to throw your hand away. And then you've lost your bet. And you lose a bunch of bets like that and you're down for the evening. So the first thing you do is you understand where people are when they're making their initial move. And then you start adjusting your strategic positions and your strategy and your bet sizes based upon it.
I have a question for you.
It
Yeah.
puzzles me that people would argue that chess and Go and poker would be something you would be talking about, which were more of anything.
Well, remember, both Go and chess are games with complete information. You know
Right,
everything.
yes,
It's all there.
they are similar games, so I wondered why they even compare it to poker.
You mentioned
It
for
would be like comparing it to Monopoly or something. I don't know.
you mentioned for gambling, poker, the horses,
Yeah.
and sports
Sports
betting.
betting.
What about 21?
Yeah, you can be 21, but not much anymore. You used to be able to beat blackjack fairly reasonably easily by counting cards and by adjusting your bet size based upon the count. But the problem is that the casinos have made a number of very effective adjustments so that they're virtually, there's really basically no professional blackjack players left.
Unless you
They're
can
all
find a
playing-
single card
They're all playing poker.
table.
I
Yeah.
mean, they are. I mean, I know a number of them. They're playing poker. Andy Block, who was a fellow who was the head of the MIT blackjack team. Andy is an old friend, and he plays poker. He plays poker very well for very high stakes. Yeah, Jay.
The games of incomplete information that you're talking about, it struck me that all of them have been tainted with cheating scandals. So if you, how do you compensate for the fact that there might be cheating going on?
When there's money at stake, there's always a blackguard somewhere trying to figure out a way to remove it from you. This is true in the stock market, it's true in banking, it's true in politics. And in fact, we discovered, as you know quite well, we found it in academia as well, and it makes us very unhappy when we see it there. Basically, in the old days, the old road gamblers, the games in the back behind the bar, there was a lot of cheating. Nowadays, there's none. And the primary reason is there's nothing to be gained by it. The casinos are scrupulously honest and straightforward. All of the online poker games are honest and straightforward. The one or two cases where there was collusion or there was some backdoor route to some of the information that was held on the server, those guys are out of business. And several of them are in jail. But if you're running a casino, if you've got a card room, if you're running an online poker room, you make your money by being honest. As soon as any suspicion of a tainted game gets up, and the word will travel fast. Everybody's got their computer, and the word is out there in a shot. So there really isn't very much. What I do look for is, in a casino, I get a little sniff once in a while about collusion. That there are two guys, two people are sitting at a table and they seem to be friends. And one of the things you'll see them do is they'll check a hand down. Check a hand down means after the first bet is made, they're the only two left in the game. Guy goes check, check, next card, check, check, next card, check, check. Or worse, they'll look at each other after the first and say, "You want to check it down?" And you say, "Yeah, check it down." And I will stop instantly. And I say, "Look, I'm not going to allow that. I will not tolerate it at this table. We're here as competitors against each other. If you beat me, fine. If I beat you, if I can eat your liver, I will do so." That's what we do at a poker game. I don't want to see this. If it happens again, I'm calling the floor.
It's not a team sport.
What?
It's
It
not
is
a
not
team sport.
And in fact, there have been occasions where I have once, and other people have called the floor over and said, "These two guys, one of them's got to leave this table." I won't play as long as it's the same game.
What about the institutionalized, I was thinking of people's era, scanning in sports betting and things like that, or doping at the horse track?
Well, those things do happen. There have been some occasions they try. I mean, the racing authorities in each state try to police them. Not too long ago, 2 years ago, one of the major trainers in the New York circuit was barred for life for doping his horses and doing so in a blatant manner after being warned on several occasions for doing it.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you can't eliminate it. I mean, they're human beings doing this. And so you're going to see some of this. You just try to keep it as low as you can, and with it, I mean, the people that we play in our games, none of them have the skills to cheat. I can tell you that. And in the casinos, they're just really clean.
Does your background in psychology help you to read players?
No, not really.
So they don't really have tells, or are they?
Oh, people have tells, sure, but you can pick up the tells without being a psychologist. Most tells, this is going to sound a little odd, and if you don't know poker, you won't know what it means. Most tells are betting tells. They bet the wrong amount. And I was in a decent-sized game in Las Vegas. This is at one of the cash games of the World Series of Poker over the summer, and I got involved in a pretty big pot with a woman. And at the end, she shoves. She goes all in. For her, that's like $200, $250. And I thought for a minute, and I looked at her and I said, "You're trying to tell me a story, but there's no plot." And I called, and she never showed her hand. She just mucked it right into the discards. So that's part of it. Her bet was too big, given the earlier action, and there's a story to every hand. Each individual bet is part of a complex story, and hers had no plot. She was just trying to win the pot the only way she could think of that was left, which was to scare me out. And I didn't have a very good hand, but I knew she didn't have it. So that's really part of it.
Is to be banned from a casino and not having been cheating, but just with talent or?
No, the casino doesn't care about poker. No, they're not losing anything. All the casino does is put the game on and charge you for it. So there's a rate that you have to
But
pay.
winners a lot, and it's talent and counting or whatever it is.
No, it's a strategic game. And I'll give you a few hints here. Let me back up so that you guys understand. When you go to play poker in a casino, in an organized card room, you pay to play. So there are two ways that they will do it. Either it's a time charge. So every half hour, and they change dealers. That's another way to stop the cheating, is to make sure you don't have a buddy who's dealing cards to you. They change dealers, you pay the time charge. It could be $5 for a half hour, or $6 for a half hour. The higher the stakes of the game, the higher the charge will be. Or the house will take a rake out of every pot. So they take 10% up to, these days, up to $5, $4 and $5. So if the pot hits $50 and you win it, you only get back 45. If the pot hits 100 and you win it, you get back 95, because they only take out $5 from each pot. So the casino, they make their money by hosting the game. So they don't care. They don't care who wins. Doesn't matter to them. Okay? Anybody wants to play poker? Give me a ring.
Thank you.